Hello. Can everybody hear me okay? It's always the first thing I want to test. Good. Hello Louise. Hi Violet. Hi Diane. Hello Geraldine. Hi Kim. Hi Voices. How is everyone? Hope you're having a great week. I'm a little bit head's a bit all over the place at the moment. It's my wife's 50th birthday over the weekend and I treated her to a surprise. Took her out to Venice for the weekend and yeah, great weekend. My head's a bit all over the place since we've got back. Early flights. Early flight's always a killer, and you have to get up in the middle of the night, get a flight, a long day, and then same coming home. But no, it was great. It was really nice. Thank you. Thank you, Louise. Thank you, Geraldine. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Violet. Yes, sort of significant age, isn't it? 50, half a century, when you think about it. I'm only a few years off myself. But yeah, quite an achievement, isn't it? 50 years. But she loved it. She really enjoyed it, and she didn't have a clue, so she's young. Yeah, she is. She didn't have a clue. Even her work, they kept it all quiet. Even got her a couple of days off work. What more could you want? Hello, Helen. Hi, Kimberly. Thank you for making it. Yeah, it is very special, 50. So I've only got a couple of years to go myself. 50 is the new 40. That's absolutely right. Until you wake up first thing in the morning. But no, no, it is. It's just a number, and it's just an age. You're only as old as you feel, and all that stuff. It's just a number. Hi, Guernsey girl. So we should have a interesting show tonight. It's something I don't know if it's ever been done before on YouTube, but everybody that needs to know knows. We're not breaking any rules, as I understand. But if you've been watching our channel, you know that we've been speaking with somebody who's been very close to Rhonda Glover. If you're not familiar with that case, if you Google Rhonda Glover, she, back in 2004, she shot at her husband. Shot him 10 times. He was a long-term boyfriend, about 15 years, I believe. And she was sentenced in 2006 to 46 years, which she's currently serving in Gatesville, a women's prison in Gatesville, in Texas. Now, the one of our guests in the chat, Voices, been talking with her behind the scenes, and she speaks regularly to Rhonda on the phone. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to have Voices on a Zoom call with me, and she is going to be speaking to Rhonda at the same time, and she will have Rhonda on speaker. Now, Rhonda's doing this, she gets a certain amount of calls per day, I understand, and she's got a 30-minute call slot at, I believe, 9 o'clock our time. So yes, this should be interesting. She's done a few TV episodes with Snapped in the US. Piers Morgan interviewed her for his Killer Women series 1, I believe, which I actually managed to find on a website called Daily Motion. If anyone's interested, I can always give them the link. It's series 1, episode 2. She's the second woman on there to be interviewed. Like Piers was saying, female killers are actually quite rare. Oh, you watch Snapped? Oh, good, Geraldine. Well done. Yeah, female killers are, compared to men anyway, very rare. And they're 3 times more likely to kill somebody that they love. Now, Wanda's partner, Jimmy Jost, who was a very, very rich oil man. And, this was someone that Rhonda has said that she loved very much, but obviously things turned bad. And she shot him, and she openly admits that. She's not trying to take that fact away or take responsibility away from that, but she's of the impression that there's a lot of stuff that hasn't been said and heard and wasn't heard in her trial, and she had a third and final attempt to appeal for a retrial. So this is part of her being able to do that. So she's going to be exclusively speaking to us. She's also, I believe, going to be doing another Snapped episode and maybe something else. Our voices, you say, you can actually watch Morgan's Killer Woman on Netflix. So there you go. I did have a quick look, but I could only find series 2. I believe she's on series 1, episode 2. That's the one that I found her on. So hopefully we're not going to be breaking any rules. But as I say, all people, Rhonda's fully aware that it's going to be recorded. It's going to be on YouTube, live on YouTube. And Rhonda has informed the necessary people within the prison. So we should be okay. If the stream suddenly disappears, then obviously you know that we were doing something that we shouldn't have been. But I'm sure it will be fine. So in a few minutes, I'm going to call Voices. I'm calling you Voices because I don't know if you want people to know your real name. If you do, just say in the chat and I'll stop calling you your YouTube nickname. So yeah, so this should be interesting. If we've got time, I know she's only got 30 minutes today. This could be something that we do again, and I'm sure at some point we're gonna. Cher is fine. Okay, that's great. Cher, I'll be bringing Cher on. Now, as I say, Cher has been communicating with Rhonda. She's been writing to her, and I believe that she calls her every day on the phone. And she is actually now like family to Rhonda and to her son, because Rhonda and Jimmy had a son together. Chandler, I think his full name's John, or John Chandler. So obviously they had a kid together. Hi, CL. But they class Cher as part of the family because she's known them all this time and she's been communicating all this time. So Cher may lead things a little bit because she knows Rhonda obviously a lot better than me. But hopefully, if we get some time, we may be able to ask a few questions. I've been told that Rhonda's going to be an open book about everything, so yeah, that's a good question, Geraldine. I will ask her that if she gets to see her son regularly. That's certainly something that we can ask. I think initially it's maybe just going to be a little gentle kind of introduction, if you like, just to Rhonda and how she met Jimmy, and then if all goes well, then maybe in a later discussion we can maybe put some more probing questions or serious questions to Rhonda. Okay, Michael, that's fine, no problem at all. Yeah, if anyone don't feel you have to chat, just sit back and listen. It's not a problem. Obviously it's a very serious matter I'm talking about. It's it's quite difficult. As I say, this lady, she is serving in prison for murder, so of course it's from a kind of human perspective, it's kind of a little bit not awkward, but you know what I mean. So, Cher, if you're, are you ready for me to bring you on to into Zoom? And then we can take it from there, really. As I say, I don't believe I've seen anywhere on YouTube that any channel's actually spoken to a prisoner. Not just yet, that's fine. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I certainly haven't seen it. But I've been told that she has informed the prison and they're happy. We're not tapping her phone call, and apparently they're not allowed phone taps. Obviously, they're not allowed three-way conversations. Obviously, the way we've done this, she's only calling, or she'll only be in direct contact with Cher. But obviously, Cher will be talking to me, and she will have Rhonda on loudspeaker. So it's kind of a pseudo three-way conversation, if you like. Hi, Tamra. So hopefully all go well. I know just changing subjects a minute, I know the Lifetime movie's been out in the US, and I believe there was a documentary after. Personally, the movie doesn't interest me whatsoever. I don't know why all people seem to do is watch stuff like that and then moan that it was incorrect and all this kind of stuff. I mean, I don't quite know what people expect, really. If you've been following the case on YouTube for at least 3 months, you're going to know far more than what enough. You're going to need to know everything you need to know, really, about that case. I don't quite know what the movie. Well, I do know what they were trying to achieve. Is obviously doing it probably for money, weren't they? But I certainly wouldn't expect to. I just think it's way too soon, in my personal opinion. I mean, you're only just over a year and year and 4 months. Hi, Lady D. Year and 4 or 5 months since it happened. I think it is way, way too soon to be making a movie about something like that, in my personal opinion. Yes, is Doulos still alive? I did hear that Doulos tried to take his life. They were trying to save him outside his house, weren't they? I did see that flash up on my phone. Fotis Doulos. Don't know if anyone's familiar with that case. I haven't really covered it because so many other channels are already covering it. But he tried to. I think he was due to appear in court today, and apparently he tried to take his life. And I don't. It sounds like he's hanging on. So he's okay. So he's carbon monoxide poisoning. Wow. So it sounds like he obviously tried to take his own life, but someone's either quickly saved him before that happened, or he didn't do it properly. Hi, Dorothy. So yeah, if anyone doesn't know, breaking news out of Fotis Doulos tried to take his own life today, but he has been resuscitated. Still alive at the moment, but he's got carbon monoxide poisoning. Just flew him to New York. Well, I wouldn't imagine that's pretty serious carbon monoxide poisoning. Don't know whether that's going to have any long-lasting effects on him. Obviously, everyone's going to be asking, why has he done that? I don't know all the ins and outs of the case, so I can't say too much about it, to be honest, but there's obviously good reason that he's done that, isn't there? I know he's just, as I say, he was due to go in court today. Oh, a welfare check found him. Wow. He was found in his garage. So he's used a car then, presumably exhaust fumes from a car, by the sound of it. I might be wrong, but Dorothy C says, hey, there was an interesting carbon monoxide crime that Dr. Mark Wangler, an anesthesiologist, convicted poisoning his wife. Carbon monoxide. Oh, wow. Dorothy C says it's very serious and they have to put you in a hypodermic chamber to push the carbon monoxide off your cells in your blood system. It actually blocked oxygen from being absorbed in the body. Yeah, I imagine it's got pretty serious effects, and it's probably gonna continue poisoning you, isn't it? Until they can, like you say, get the toxic chemicals out of your system. So we're just waiting on Cher at the moment. I'm going to be bringing Cher on. As I say, Cher is the lady that's been in contact daily for a long time with Rhonda. She's been writing to her, and I believe she speaks to her on the phone every day, and that is what we are hopefully going to be hearing today. So we'll have Rhonda on the phone from prison speaking to Cher, and Cher will have Rhonda on speaker, and Cher will be on the line with me. So hopefully we got like a pseudo three-way conversation going, and we can all hear each other. And that's the plan. Let me just make sure that everything's okay here. Yeah, all looks good. Two minutes. Not long now, guys, I promise. Time goes so fast when you're on these lives. How are you, CL? How's the how are the Vegas guys? Hope you're all okay over there. Got my brother out in younger brother's out in New York at the moment. I've got a bit of snow over there. So now see, got snow. There's quite a few of you in the US, isn't there? We had a little bit of kind of haily sleet today, but that was about it. It's very, very cold. So yeah, so Dorothy C. So if anyone's not aware, so Rhonda Glover, she was a former Texas beauty queen. See how saying the Vegas guys still hoaxing, still getting those hoax attacks. That's ridiculous, isn't it? So yeah, so Rhonda Glover, she was a former beauty queen. She met a very rich oil man, name of Jimmy Jost, and they had an on-off relationship for about 10 to 15 years. In 2004, July 2004, in what a lot of people say was a cold-blooded, calculated murder, she shot dead her partner, Jimmy Jost. She had a Glock and she shot him 10 times. She'd also spent a month prior to that practicing to use that firearm. She's always claimed that it was in self-defense and that Jimmy was constantly stalking her because at that point they split up, were living apart. She was sentenced in 2006 to 46 years, and she's currently serving that in women's prison in Texas. She's got one last appeal, if you like, for a retrial. She believes that there is a lot of stuff that didn't come out and wasn't said that may have led to why she did what she did and what happened, and that, potentially she wasn't given fair trial. She's not in any way trying to say that she didn't do what she did. Hello? Hello, is that Cher? Hello? Okay, you might just be on mute for a few seconds. Sometimes does this. Hello?
All right. Yep, here I am.
Aha. How are you doing?
Good. So now
Good,
we're
good.
just waiting for Rhonda.
Okay, so Wanda's going to call you, is that correct? And you're going to put her on loudspeaker.
Yes, yep.
Okay. So she has a certain amount of calls per day, does she? As slots that she's allowed to?
I think it's just a time. I thought it was like between 8 and 10 during the day or whatever, but there's been times where I've gotten calls at like 10 minutes after 7 in the morning and stuff like that. So I'm not really sure how the calls work.
Okay. She calls you regularly, well, you call her, or?
Yep. Oh, here she is. Ready?
Okay, you ready, guys? I think we're ready.
Rhonda Glover. An offender Act believes this call is being recorded and is subject to monitoring. To accept this free call, press 1. To refuse this free call, thank you for using CenturyLink. You may start the conversation now. Hello.
Hey, Ma.
What's up, buddy? You okay?
Yep, we're on the live right now. So you're with Team Phoenix and everybody on the live.
Oh, wow. Okay. I wasn't expecting that.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hello, Team Phoenix.
Hi, Rhonda. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I'm going to turn that volume on the phone.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. Is that too loud?
Nope.
Okay.
That's fine. Long you can hear me. Okay.
Today?
I say thank you for joining us tonight.
Yes. A little nervous.
So you've notified the prison and everything's kind of okay your end with regard us doing this.
Yes, I am. I'm good with talking. I feel like the media has not been very kind to me in the past, and rather than investigate what I had told them was the truth, they ran with DA's theory, and it's really created a lot of problems for me. And so it's very kind of you to allow me the chance to talk and to tell my truth. And it's not just me saying, that's not true, these people lied. I have the documentation that backs up what I'm saying. And so did my attorney. Mm-hmm. And he allowed me to be lied upon in the trial, which is kind of typical in Texas justice, I'm finding out. So I think they make deals with one another. Hey, you let me win this case, and I'll let you win the next one. I mean, I don't know. It just amazes me that attorneys can sleep at night knowing that they manipulated the justice system in favor of the prosecution when the evidence clearly shows that the person did not do what they say they did. So, but I was telling Cher that I used to live in London. I don't know where are you located?
Okay, yeah. So we're southwest UK, kind of Somerset region. I don't know if you're familiar with the UK, but yeah. So we're kind of west of London. But we have subscribers all over the world. We have America, Canada, England, Ireland, everywhere.
Okay. I've been to London 3 times. I lived there for a little while, and then I had an aunt that lived in Southampton. So I have not been fortunate enough to travel to the rest of the UK, but my family history, my ancestors are all from the United Kingdom. The Brits, the Beckhams, the Watsons, the Locks, the Barrows, and the Glovers. So I'm looking forward to visiting you guys. Y'all can show me around whenever I come home. me and Cher will come visit y'all, okay?
Yeah, that'd be great. So, I mean, obviously, I've been speaking to Cher. We've been speaking for a few weeks now. I know that she's in regular contact with you. You two have grown quite close. So, in it's kind of what is your kind of in a nutshell your kind of mission, if you like? Um, I understand that you've got a third chance at a retrial and a final chance. Is that correct?
Yes, I have what is called a writ of habeas corpus, and the form is 11.07. And it's that time when you file this writ and memorandum of law, you have to put everything that happened to you in, all of the constitutional violations and due process rights. And that's what gets your case overturned. According to the U.S. Constitution, did you have a fair trial? And the answer to that question in my case is no. And here are the reasons why. So I've wasted $315,000 on lawyers, and found that I ended up having to do everything myself. So I've just stayed in the law library. I've been going every day to the law library for the last 12 years or more. And out of sheer will and necessity, have written my own writ of memorandum. And I have a couple of attorneys that said they would take a look at it, but I was told that the Court of Criminal Appeals, which is the higher court that would look at it, does not favor people filing pro se on their own, that they have been told to toss them out. So I'm a little reluctant to file it myself, but basically...
Mr. Spencer should be helping with that.
Joe Spencer, yes.
Yeah.
That's what we're hoping for, is to get this appeal lawyer, Joe Spencer, who overturned Daniel Villegas' case, to help me with it. I've done all of the paralegal work, scanned in all of the exhibits to prove that the witnesses committed perjury. There was false forensics. My attorney agreed to what's called a motion in limine prior to the trial, and it says, nothing good I ever did would be allowed, and nothing bad my ex ever did would be allowed. And my attorney called no witnesses. He allowed witnesses to testify that Jimmy had bought me homes and cars, and my CPA should have been called to testify because he wrote an affidavit saying that I made over $100,000 a year as a personnel agency owner, and I bought all my homes and cars in my own name with my own credit and no cosigner. That kind of changes things because the jury believed that he had a right to be there because he had bought me this house. And then he was taking such great care of me. Why would I be mad at him? And he died with $1.40 to his name. So if he killed me like he was trying, he got my home, my son, my life insurance money, my car, my jewelry, my art, my antiques, everything that I had worked hard for. And I didn't need a man to take care of me. And I certainly didn't want Jimmy in my life because he was so jealous and obsessed and abusive, emotionally and physically abusive to me. So that's why I never married him, because I was like, oh no, that would be, a disaster. And when he offered me the $350,000 ring and $146,000 in gifts, I refused it all. It was an engagement ring, and I told him, you need to get sober, get your life together, and I'll be happy to talk to you about a future at that point, but right now I just can't see it happening. And that, he said, if I can't have you, no one will. And that evidence did not come into my trial to sort of drive those issues home and make the jury understand what was going on, because my attorney just did not, he only came to see me twice. So he didn't know anything about my case. And I was so over-medicated that I really couldn't help myself at all. All I did was sleep in the county. And when I came to the prison, I refused all my medications, and I told the psychiatrist, I said, I think there's been a misdiagnosis, because now that I'm not taking these medications, I feel so much better. So I took a psychological profile, and they observed me for about 6 months, and they released me from my diagnosis. I don't have a mental illness.
And currently today, you are not taking any anti-psychs, right?
No, I have not been on the psych caseload or taken any psych medication since 2007.
Right.
And that's a big factor in getting my case overturned, that what I was a battered woman, and the psychiatrist diagnosed me with having bipolar disorder. And rather than take me off of one medication to put me on a different one, because I didn't like the way it was making me feel, he was stacking them on top of each other. And I went into a psychosis. And Jimmy was stalking me and my son. And my fear of him escalated because my mind wasn't right. I was
no third-party calls are allowed.
I was on all of those psych medications. So when I came to the prison and I realized that I didn't have the mental illness, I tried to get my mental health records, and the county jail said they threw them all away, that they didn't have to keep records of them. So years went by, and I didn't know how to find the evidence. One day I was praying, and I got the idea to write to medical records and get the intake form from the jail to the prison. And there it was, the nurse from the county jail signed off on. I was on risperidol, lithium, trazodone, and Benadryl. And when you put them in drugs.com, there's like this big warning sign. There is the deadly combination. And when I was forced to testify, I kept putting my head down on the witness stand, and my attorney was screaming at me, Rhonda, pick your head up. You're the only one that can tell this jury what happened. Pick your head up. And I was really having a hard time.
And about that, they say you kept putting your head down because you were trying to think of things to say, but you did not want to go on the stand to begin with, but you were also putting your head down because you were so drowsy.
Yeah, I was so over medicated. Like,
yes.
First of all, I have vertigo, so the medications made my vertigo worse. But I wasn't trying to think of anything that wasn't the case. I was just.
You were dizzy.
I was incompetent.
Yeah.
I was incompetent, and I wasn't prepared to testify. He never told me I was going to testify. He told me that morning, well, you're going on the stand, because I was the only witness. I was the only witness. How can you have a trial and have one witness when there were all these people that wanted to testify?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's certainly a cocktail of drugs, I must admit, and they're all extremely strong drugs as well. So that was around the time of your sentencing, was it? Were you on any medication back in 2004? I mean, obviously it's been said there was drug use and all that kind of stuff.
I was prescribed risperidol, and that medication has had a lot of industry problems, and it causes a lot of side effects, jerking movements, and it's actually for people who have schizophrenia.
Yeah.
It's a very serious drug, and I don't have a mental illness. So at the time of the crime, there was, that medication was prescribed for me. And when I was arrested, my medications were with me. So they can't say that I wasn't taking them, which is the DA's theory was that I was mad at him because he was broke, and that I was a mentally ill woman who refused to take her medication. And the DAs told my jury that I was a threat to their lives and a threat to the witnesses, that I could not be trusted on probation. I was not a good candidate for probation because I refused to take my meds, and that my son deserved to be free from my abuses. My son told CPS in a report, and they had this, that I put him in time out. I never hit my child, never abused my child. One of the witnesses for the state testified that Jimmy bought me my Cadillac that I owned. The credit manager at General Motors, a big car company in the United States, wrote an affidavit saying that I qualified for my own vehicles with the Cadillac dealership with impeccable credit, and I had the income to buy these $60,000 cars.
And all the proofs for that are on our YouTube channel. I put the links where you can see some proofs that were entered into the court that you can clearly see that her lawyers never used at all. So that would be on one of the videos on our YouTube channel there as well. Any proofs that we have, I try to link them in the videos.
Okay. Claire's awesome. She's the daughter I never had, and I'm so grateful to have her in my corner. And it's been really difficult to get help because people have said that I'm crazy. And, Piers Morgan called me a psycho. And I was the most psycho person that he ever met. And I don't know where he got that from, because we had been...
he was really nice to you when he was there hugging you, right?
Yeah, he hugged me, and I told him that I was living in the faith-based dorm, where it's a program where you do a lot of Bible studies and you graduate, and parole really looks highly of people that sign up for this program. And I had gotten some makeup samples of magazines, Chanel foundation, and I was getting all dressed up, and the girls were like, "Where are you going?" And I said, "Didn't you hear the British are coming?" And we laughed. So I told him the joke, and Piers was like, "Oh, you have such a great sense of humor. You really are so sweet. They have you portrayed so wrong." And then he slammed me, and I was very upset because he had agreed that he would talk about the positive things that I've done and the things that were left out, and he kept badgering me during the interview. He was very aggressive, and I kept trying to steer him back into what he had agreed to say, and he was getting kind of irritated with me because he wanted to control the interview and make it more meaty for the sensationalism, and to make me out. I think he was trying to aggravate me to bring me out of character, where you could say, "See, he really is crazy."
And ratings.
Yes, but he can't even say anything nice about Princess Meghan. So who am I?
Yeah, Piers Morgan. He's kind of. I think you either love him or loathe him. He's got a lot of followers in the UK. I think people like to think that he gets sort of straight to the point. But it's interesting that you say he kind of buttered you up, and then come interview time, he completely changed and tried to dictate the interview, and that's quite an interesting point there about the media, isn't it? What they do, that's a kind of behind the scenes look there at what they're actually like. I mean, certainly, the way, if anyone who watched that Piers Morgan interview and the way it's been portrayed, obviously, I've got to say it has been portrayed as you are kind of this calculated killer that that planned it, and obviously trained to use the Glock that you used to shoot Jimmy on the day. That's the way it has been portrayed, certainly to the outside.
That my CPA and family lawyer advised me that if Jimmy was stalking me, then I needed to go. And I went to the place, the training place, Top Gun, and we know the owner. The Saraguses were family friends, and they're the aunt and uncle of Rocky Navarro, who testified in my trial, and that never came out.
Yeah.
If I'm planning to kill Jimmy, why am I going to train with the place that we know the owners, because they called his brother and told him that I was in there training. And he told Jimmy.
But you were training because you were scared too and asked for special training for protection, right?
And no, listen, that special training session that the gun instructor said that I asked for, he had a receipt for every single training session except for that one.
And it's not showing up to this day because I've called them and they do not have that on record. So that's kind of, that's funny as well, Chris.
So that's the only one. That's the only one.
Yeah.
My lawyer did ask the guy, he said, that's funny that you say she had a special training session because you have a receipt for every single time she was in there, which was 2 other times. And you don't have this special training session that you claim she asked for. And that's not true. And then he said that I asked him to discipline my son. And that's not true either. My son wanted this big hunting knife. And he was like really upset that I wouldn't get it for him. So I asked the guy to please explain how dangerous and sharp this knife is. Like, if you're not going to believe me, son, you have to believe this guy because he knows about the knife. And so he turned that around. But basically they were trying to, make the gun store not liable. But the day that the incident happened, I went to Red where I actually bought my gun. In Austin. Jimmy ran me off. I didn't buy the gun at Top Gun. I said, no, I've changed my mind. I don't want one because I've always been very scared of them. And then Jimmy ran me off the road. So
Seem to have lost.
okay.
All right, we're back.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Ma.
Okay. Well, it was not premeditated. It was not a premeditated thing. There's evidence that the judge would not let into my trial that Jimmy had contacted a guy from Mexico that did a lot of odd jobs for him. And he told him to rent a truck and meet him at the house on July 21st, that he wanted him to move some furniture. And the judge would not let the evidence in. That constitutes a robbery because that was my house with my furniture. And so because Jimmy was broke, I think he was going to, take my stuff and sell it. So he was doing drugs. And that was not allowed in my trial. The people who knew about him using drugs were not allowed to testify. Remember, nothing good I did would be allowed and nothing bad he did would be allowed. He was made to look like, a Boy Scout, and I was made out to look like a monster.
Yes.
And it just wasn't fair. It was a one-sided trial.
It certainly sounds like stuff. It was railroaded through in a way, and stuff was swept under the carpet that maybe should have come to light. So,
and I believe wholeheartedly that had the jury found there was a Houston police officer that took a trespassing case. My apartment had a 24-hour security guard. And next door to it was the Houstonian Hotel and Resort and a big high-rise building. And he had a friend that lived in that high-rise building. And he used to go and work out, have drinks, dinner at the Houstonian. So he was staying over there, stalking my son and I, and stalking the bus. So I went to the teacher and the principal and had a meeting and said, do not let my son get on the bus. His dad is stalking us, and I'm scared of him. Do not let him get on this bus. I may never see him again. That wasn't allowed into my trial.
And Josh Chandler backs that up too. And by the way, if you want to shout him out, he's probably watching later tonight, Ma, if you want to say hi to him quick.
My son? Oh, hi, John Chandler. I love you so much, honey. I love you. I'm so sorry you've had to endure all of this. I can't wait to see you.
I was just going to ask how. So your son was 9 at the time. How often do you speak to him now?
It's starting to get back on track. When there's inmates, Rhonda, Rhonda's father had said, So the day Rhonda got sentenced was the day that Rhonda's dad feels like so did the family. And it's not just Rhonda's case. This is what happens. It tears families apart. Rhonda's mom and dad aren't even together anymore. It's just what happens. So it is a touchy subject. So sorry for butting in, but they're just starting to get back on track now with that, you guys.
I think it's been, my parents have spent $300,000 trying to help me and save me, and every attorney has taken the money, and there's no attorney work product file from any lawyer I've ever had. And I think that they basically didn't care because they thought I was mentally ill. And so who cares about the crazy people?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm discounted because I've been called crazy and insane and a psycho in the media. And so what easier way to take money from somebody than to say, well, we can't help her because she's crazy. But, you know, even crazy people, even people that have a mental illness, they're human beings. And my goal is when this is over and I can finally have a fair trial, and hopefully when the jury or the judge hears the whole case, things will be different. But I want to know how many other mentally ill, battered women are calling the cops and they're not helping them.
That's
Because
very,
my ex would say, well, she's not on her medication and I can control her. And then he would shut the door and beat me for calling the cops.
yeah, well, that's
So
horrible to hear.
prison was the best thing that happened for me, because if I was mentally ill, I couldn't live in this environment without medication. I would have too many problems with the officers and too many problems with the inmates, because when you're bipolar, you react and overreact to everything. And in prison, I've held some really important jobs. I was a Braille transcriber for 7.5 years, where I transcribed university books into Braille. Physics books, calculus, algebra, history, literature, all into Braille. And I had to, get my certification from the Library of Congress. And I worked in the print shop, and I was the quality clerk for the press department. I was the alteration tailor for the officers' uniforms at one unit I was at. I worked in the law library helping other inmates. Because I've become a paralegal, I help a lot of people with, learning how to use the books and getting their case overturned and getting their records. And Texas makes it almost impossible to get your case overturned. The law library in the prison does not offer copies. And if you don't have someone that can make copies for you, you'll lose your evidence. The mail gets lost. The officers have taken people's legal stuff and claimed that it got lost somehow, and thousands of dollars of transcripts just disappear. It is an uphill battle. And if you're not strong and you're not, if you don't have strong faith, then you're not going to make it. And it's been difficult. And Cher has been like an angel to me. So anyway, they're calling count time. Every couple of hours we have to get counted and make sure we're all still here. So I'd love to call you again.
Definitely, we can arrange that. Definitely, I know your time is limited today, but we do appreciate it very much.
Okay, well, thank you so much for listening to my story, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Okay, call me after count, Ma.
I will. Okay, love you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
There you go. That's not something you hear every day, is it? Even had the little kind of messages on the prison system For anyone that's probably going to
Oh,
start, yeah, people.
don't worry, that's said all of the time. I think it's when she's on speaker, but it happens to all of us that talk to her. We kind of joke about it all the time. They're listening to us.
Yes, I presume the whole call is recorded and all that kind of stuff. I suppose.
So if we're gone in a couple days, guys, send bail for Chris and I.
So one of the questions I didn't get to ask before she went, but I mean I don't know if you can answer it, but one of the obvious questions is, why did she run after she obviously shot Jimmy? Why did she run and kind of try and avoid obviously the police?
That's a tough one to answer. I
Yeah,
don't know
if
that
you
I would
can't,
do the
yeah,
same. All I can say is you don't know. Every person has a different reaction. I guess I would go with the flight or fight, right? But she also, that's when she honestly was still under all of these medications, and she said to the police that she was on her way to become a country music star. So I kind of still feel it goes in with that. She just wasn't in her right mind, and every person reacts differently, and that's the reaction she had. That's the best I can answer that right now.
yeah. And would obviously, she's saying, and even her Jimmy's friends say that he was heavily into drugs. I've heard
Yes.
cocaine mentioned. I don't know if there is a specific drug that he was taking, but would it be also true to say that she was also doing the drugs and the drink with Jimmy, or was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Jimmy kept the drugs around to keep Rhonda around. So that's how obsessed he was with her that he continued. Now he'll say he did the drugs to let loose and have fun with Rhonda, but he was 2-3 times bigger than Rhonda. I mean, he was a big guy. I don't think that she was shoving the drugs down his throat or in his veins, if you will.
No, no. I mean, this guy was a millionaire, right? I mean, he had a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
money. He was a
Yeah.
proper rich oil man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, he wrote a $1 million check one time just for her to go have a girls' weekend. So
Yeah, that's insane, isn't it?
yeah.
Well, that was certainly very interesting. It's hard to just cram anything into half an hour, isn't it? It's I mean, there's so many things we'd like to talk about
And
with
if
her.
if we could start earlier one day or later, I know it's late for you guys, but at count time it's an hour between. But sometimes in the morning she'll call me back to back 3-4 times in a row too. So there is, and we can figure something out in the future for longer as well.
Sure. Does she have up days and down days, I guess? Good days and bad days.
There's yeah, I'm every day. I mean, even I do. There's times where I even have to ask myself, honestly, you guys, like, why me? What am I doing? How does this make me look? But and then more and more things I find out, and I sleep real well at night defending her, and I will ride with her till the end. I feel confident in what she's saying because I'm not just listening to what she's saying. I've done the research. I've talked to everybody but people in Jimmy's family, and it's because I know how Jimmy's family already feels. I'm friends with their son, who is family to them, and I know what's being said. So it's pointless for me to even reach out to them.
Yeah. I mean, it's just hard to think we're sat here talking to her. She's, I mean, she's inside. How long has she been in prison for now, and how long? She's sentenced to 46 years, right? I guess she gets parole at a certain length of time, does she?
So July will be 17 years that she's in there on a 46-year sentence. Parole is coming up in August of 2027. So if at worst, I do believe she'll be walking out in the next 6.5 years if our last effort before that does not work.
Okay.
But she's 53 now, spinal injury. She needs a serious surgery that can leave her. The doctors say 70% chance that she will be paralyzed from the waist down. So there's a lot of reasons why we're really trying to do this now instead of just wait. Because I know people have asked, like, why not just wait? What's that much more time? Well, to her, and with how her body is and everything she's been through, that to her is a life sentence. She could easily pass away in there. So that's why we're working so hard.
Yeah, I get that. I can relate to that. I know Texas is obviously one of the toughest states, isn't it? I mean, they when they put you in prison in Texas, you're kind of in there for a long time, aren't you? I think it's quite well known for being that kind of state. Would that be fair to say?
Oh yeah, there's lots of days where today was a good day. I could tell she was very emotional, but trying to hold it together for you guys. And there's a lot of times where she just tells me, "I love you, Cher. Stop what you're doing. You're wasting your time on me. Stop." And there's a lot of times where it's like I have to tell her, "No, no, you stay. You have to stay strong. Like we can't give up now. Like you keep telling me that's devil at play, and that's exactly what that is. We cannot give up now." So you asked how she's doing, and it's hit or miss every day because a lot of times she's like, "I'm not worth it. I'm not worth it." Well, I don't believe that.
No, no. I mean, she's a human being at the end of the day, and certainly if she feels strongly, and obviously you do, that there are things there that need to be at least just heard and said. So
Yeah.
that's, I mean, you can't really ask for much more than that, can you?
Right. And just like
Um,
she told you with Piers Morgan, and just Snap did the same thing. They'll tell her one thing, and then of course she's excited to have her voice of when people are actually there filming. And I don't know if you watch Piers Morgan episode with her, you can actually see where the interview starts taking a turn and her face and emotion change. It just pisses me off, sorry, but just what he did. He was all lovey-dovey, hugging her a lot, and other people that were there also say, "Oh yeah, he made her believe it would be one way, and then mid through he really just started he wanted it to look one way, and that's what happened."
that is interesting to hear that. It's so if anyone didn't catch that, she did
But
an
not just
yeah.
Piers Morgan, that's media in general for a TV show. So I kind of understand you want the viewers, and I know how it goes, but
Yes, yeah, it's still a little bit underhanded though, isn't it, to treat you one way
yeah.
like that? They could just not say anything, couldn't they? They couldn't just, they don't have to be nice to you and then purposefully turn on you. I think that's a little bit fair, but unfair, but
Especially
yeah,
when she's doing the interview for free when you actually it's a paid programming that you're doing. So
absolutely, yeah. Somebody's just asking if it's on Netflix. I couldn't find it. I think he's done 2 series of Killer Women, Piers Morgan.
yep, 2 seasons, and I believe if she I can't remember, I'm sorry. I think she's the first season, but it won't say Rhonda Glover. I believe it will say Amanda Lewis, and Rhonda's the second. That one is 2 interviews because it was the same prison. So you'll fast forward through the Amanda Lewis, and then there's Rhonda's story.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's series 1, episode 2. What I might do, because
Okay.
I actually managed to find it on a website called Daily Motion. I might put a link to it underneath the video, so if anyone wants to watch it. Now you've also obviously a big thing about this. You say you've got a lawyer signed up, but obviously you've got to raise finances, right, to get an attorney on board.
Yeah.
I guess that's
Yeah. To
one
do
of the
her
hardest
writ,
things.
$50,000 altogether for her to get her writ filed with the attorney, file in court, be represented by Joe Spencer.
Hmm. So, and you've got a fundraiser set up. I believe you've had quite difficulty setting that up, I believe, haven't you? Because of, I suppose,
Yes, I
obviously.
tried being honest and open and putting everything in there, and it got flagged immediately. So Rhonda has friends that is actually helping me. One of the people that was a witness is a lawyer, CPA for her for 10 years before she even met Jimmy. So he helped me with the new one, and then her friend John Campbell, who is actually executive producer of Cooking with Rock Stars and worked for CBS and stuff, actually he's the one who worded the new GoFundMe and put it together for me. So with some help of Rhonda's squad there, they got it put up for me 2 days ago, I believe, and the email says it's actually great GoFundMe page and we can leave it up. So
Okay, well, we'll link that under the video, so if anyone wants to have a look, was interested in donating to that, they can do that. So as I say, we'll link that underneath the video.
Thank you. We appreciate that so much. And there's some pictures and stuff that are current from Christmas and New Year's on that page, even if you just want to take a peek at that.
Certainly sounds like she's quite busy in the prison.
Oh yeah, they do counts a bunch of times, but she, I've talked to the prison pastor and priests and people that work in the prison. She's been nothing but a role model inmate. She's done nothing but try to help others in there. She runs. I have some pictures for where she helps with the church services and prays with the girls. And when she was pregnant, she was cooking for the pregnant girls and even using her own commissary to make sure the pregnant girls and the elderly ladies were well taken care of and fed before she worried about herself. And
yeah, sounds like she's doing some good in there, definitely. It sounds like she's doing quite a lot of legal stuff for other people. Is that right?
oh yeah, and something that I'm going to be getting into on my channel and you as well. There's some things that we've been sitting on. I'll talk to you later about. But inmates, they get taken advantage of so much, and so do the families, that's what they're left with. You have some sleazy lawyers in there that actually have inmates writing their own appeals and stuff. So the attorneys are getting the money, but they aren't writing it. Other inmates are writing for each other and things like that. And the things that I am finding out being the position I'm in is just ridiculous. And to say that I think that they're elderly people and stuff like that in general in the free world or in prison are number one people taken advantage of, as children are, but so are inmates and families of inmates, because if they want so hard to fight for their freedom, they're being taken advantage of. And then there's the loved ones that are on the outside that are trying to help do everything they can, so they're being drained of their money and their time and their emotions. It's breaking families up. It's bad.
Yeah, I can certainly see that. I mean, they kind of, like you say, they prey on your hope that you can help them, don't they? And
Definitely.
at the same time, they're really just making a whole load of money and might not necessarily have your best interests at heart 100%. So, yeah, corruption in the legal system, I think, is probably quite well known. It's not people probably wouldn't be shocked about that. Definitely not. Well, so we'll try and arrange. I mean, we were obviously we had a discussion before. We sort of careful about what we say because obviously we don't want to affect her, chances of a retrial and that kind of stuff and what she's trying to do. So
You may just lose sound sometimes when I push the mute button. Sorry, guys.
that's okay. So yeah, we'll obviously continue to chat, and then if Rhonda would like to come on again, then she can. And we could maybe people could maybe ask her some questions if they want to. She seems quite open,
She's
quite
very
willing to
open.
talk.
That's the thing. Yeah, she is. She'll say everything because she believes in her story. She believes, if I've asked her would she do it again, and she has told me yes she would. She was that fearful. So she is an open book, but sometimes I just try to steer her just for her own safety of her case, like you said.
Yeah, it was certainly the drugs that she mentioned. I saw a lot of people in chat kind of saying, "Wow, my God, we're taking those two in combination. It certainly is quite a nasty cocktail of prescription drugs." So I can certainly fully relate to the fact that she felt completely zonked out. And I've the trazodone. I've actually had experience of them years and years ago. I can't remember what it was for, but I do remember having one and just feeling completely zonked, like not wanting to do anything or talk or just put your head down and go to sleep. So taking that on top of all the other stuff that she was taking, and it sounded like she was almost coming across that Jimmy was kind of controlling in a way, maybe with making sure that she's taking her medication and all that kind of stuff. Would that be
So
fair to say?
yes, he did. He was friends. There's no way that we can prove that on paper or anyone will back that to this day. But I believe when Rhonda says they were friends because she shouldn't have been on all those. So obviously somebody wanted her to look crazy because Rhonda did leave, right? So she had her own apartment and she was only there at, which was her house too, to pick up camping stuff. But she did leave and had her own apartment in a gated area. And he was then trying to control with custody over John Chandler and saying like, well, you're crazy. Like, so he was using her and her mental illness and the meds she was on to control what the custody would look like and keep using that against her and said that to her all the time and all of this ridiculous stuff. And he had billions of dollars too. So
Yeah, that's crazy. Is there anyone want to ask any questions from the chat? If anyone's got any questions for Cher. So I mean, you've been speaking with Rhonda for, is it 14 months or longer than that?
yeah, since the end of 2017.
Yeah, I noticed
About
that
October, November.
you call her Mama. Is that right?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I picked up on that. Um, she's obviously got a lot of trust in you. She obviously appreciates you. That came across quite clear as well, you know.
Well, I've really been I feel not just her, but her entire family has been done wrong. And so, where everyone hasn't cared about the bond of the family and her son and have actually tried to help rip them apart, I've come in where I've been doing my best and slowly have been getting the family back in touch, visiting back on phone. It's slowly getting there and the whole family has been putting trust in me and I'm very honored for that. I feel very privileged to be able to do just that alone.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, like you were saying earlier, you know, this sort of thing, it has such a ripple effect, doesn't it, on everyone involved? You know, obviously the families and friends and that kind of stuff. And of course, she had a son. So I think you said last time you were on that he's doing okay at the moment. He's obviously it was, you know, it's going to have affected him big time, isn't it, as he
Yeah,
grew up?
yeah, yeah. He's not okay. He believes he's had some toxic relationships himself, which he blames his mom and his father for. He's been to rehab several times and he's currently 11 months sober off of everything but marijuana, which I think is okay. Medical marijuana has helped a lot of people. But he used to do heroin, cocaine. He's lucky to be alive, you guys. And for children that grow up in the way that John Chandler has or I have, for him to not be in prison right now himself or dead somewhere in a ditch speaks highly of how strong John Chandler is. And he's held a job now for a few months and he's doing great with that. He's slowly getting more in touch and he's a team with me. He's wanting to help his mom now that he's older and he's sobering up. He has seen more to the story because before I got in the picture, John Chandler didn't know anything but what you see in the media. The
Yeah,
family doesn't like to talk about it. So everything you see on TV is what at 9 years old and everything that was drilled into his head is what he's believing. So his whole head has been a mess. He's got PTSD, he believes. And so when I'm there, he'll be going to, we're going to go to therapy together, like a group counseling and stuff like that. And, you know, slowly but surely, he's doing okay. The fact that he's here, he's a strong person.
yeah, that's good. I don't know, and that's nice to hear, and totally understandable. You know, like you say, he was 9 years old. He's probably going to have no real memory of what happened, but like you say, he's only knows it from what he's seen in the media, which,
Right.
yeah. Dorothy C's just asking. She'd like to know if Rhonda's found any peace in the prison, and how does she get through her days?
Talking to myself or my children, She loves getting emails. If you want, I'll leave the description for you for her JPay, where you can send emails, and every day, if it's sent before, I can't remember what time, but she gets them every day. If it's sent before a certain time, I'll get all that information again. I talk to her every day, so we don't email a lot. But she loves getting emails from people, praying, working in the church, and really helping other women. I'll chat with you privately, Chris, because she actually took care of a very big problem over this weekend for not just herself, but many female inmates that was being taken advantage by somebody who was trying to trade legal work for sexual favors, sexual letters, sexual phone calls, and things of that nature. And thank you to Rhonda. He has now been told by the prison he cannot have any more contact with the female inmates.
Oh,
So she
wow.
believes she's been put there for a purpose, like she said earlier. Really, she's just trying to stay busy to get through the time, you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. She sounds like she's busy. And she sounded in good spirits when she came on. I mean, obviously, I don't know how much she's putting on for us for that, but
Oh, she's been nervous. She's been really, really nervous. So you could tell she was very excited because myself and now you are her voice to the free world, as she says. So she hasn't had that. Anything that has been said to us in the so-called free world is what media has told us, or people who wanted to write a book in their own words and make it a New York bestseller. That's all we were able to see, and that's not Rhonda's voice. That's not Rhonda's story. If anything, it's all to make Jimmy look like um, the better person.
yeah. I mean, this is certainly coming from, this is straight from Rhonda, isn't it? From within the prison. So you can't get any more undiluted than that, can you, really? Obviously,
Right.
this is her point of view. This is her side of the story, which probably a lot of people haven't heard, have they? Because they wouldn't have had a chance to hear.
Right.
So it's certainly going to be interesting. Okay, so yeah, so we'll put all the relevant links underneath the video for the GoFundMe for the episodes for Snapped and Piers Morgan. Did you say that she's going to be doing another episode with Snapped? I know they've been trying to get hold of her, haven't they, to do an update?
Yep, we have a contract with Snapped, and it sounds like by this summer we will be filming at the latest, as long as we get the contract and it's as what was talked about on the phone. She did sign the release, so yeah, it is heading that way. A couple other TV shows have reached out as well. For Snapped, I'm not sure if it will actually be Snapped, but it's their same production that dealt with her before, and it's going to be an update with what is going on in her case now. What has she been doing while in there, and hopefully they stick to their word this time, and that's really what it's about. Otherwise, I will be shutting down production because I will be there, and it won't be aired. So I'm kind of like David going up against Goliath right now.
Yeah, I was going to say you're obviously going to be wary now, but at least you know now the little games that they play. I guess they show you
I'll be
one.
honest, I don't really, I'm the type I don't give a crap. There's been an injustice. I feel that. And if something happens to me for trying to have a voice, I honestly am the type I don't care. Oh, well.
Yeah, fair enough. Absolutely, fair enough. It's fully believe and got a passion for what you do, so no
I
one can
feel
knock
like
you for
I'm
that.
doing what's right in my heart.
Yeah, yeah. You can go by your heart, follow your heart, isn't it? Like they say.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'll speak to you. I'm sure I'll speak to you after or tomorrow, and we'll arrange obviously to maybe do this again, and
Yep.
obviously we'll learn some more. So half an hour is kind of the maximum, really, I guess, that she can call.
I'm sure if we set it up right, we could at least get two. She'd have to hang up after the 30 minutes and then call right back. So we could get about an hour in a row. There might be several minutes in between while she calls back, but
I imagine this is a huge thing for her, isn't it? Really, this is to her? This must be a huge thing to be able to speak directly to
To
kind of the
speak to
outside
you
world.
guys now, she was just as excited as being on any major TV show. She was very excited, and I'll be talking to her probably in the next hour, and I'll hear all about it and be able to tell you. But I could tell she was very excited and appreciative. And I know that she'll talk again. And like I said earlier, there's a few things that we have been sitting on and haven't said anything about, but we are ready to start talking about these things soon. So you'll be the first to hear about it.
And you think this could really change the whole perspective?
Game stopper.
Interesting. Well, there you go, folks. You heard that first here. So we'll wait with bated breath for that. Okay, well I'll let you go if you want to drop back in the chat, or if you want to ring Rhonda, or she's going to ring you, or probably do a summary of tonight. I hope she was, I hope she felt comfortable anyway, at least. And
Oh, I think she was. But yep, I'll hop back on the chat until she calls me again, and then I'll be in touch with you. Probably, or it's late for you, so you can message me in the morning or whatever.
okay, no worries. And if you speak to Chandler, then send our regards. I hope he's okay.
He does listen to you guys, so he will be watching this probably later tonight or tomorrow. So if you guys want to give a shout out to him, he'd get a kick out of that.
Okay, big shout out to Chandler.
John Chandler.
John Chandler, big shout out to you. And I hope you're doing well. Lots of love from our channel.
He'll be on. He's already told me, but he would like me there in Texas with him. He's got a lot of anxiety. So in the next several weeks he'll be on there with me, you guys.
Okay, that'd be great. And it's understandable. Obviously, he's tell him he doesn't need to worry about anything though. We're not. There's no pressure with us or anything.
Stayed out of the limelight until about Thanksgiving time. He was like, let's do this. I'm in, let's go. So honestly, you guys would be the first. No reporter has talked to him. Snapped, Piers Morgan, nobody has talked to him. So, but me and his family.
I mean, it's his mother killed his father. It's that's a huge deal, right? Not that everyone can appreciate that. So yeah. Okay.
All right, I will hop on the chat. Thank you for the platform again. I'll talk to you guys soon.
No problem. Thank you very much. We appreciate you for speaking with us, and thank you to Rhonda. Please pass on our thanks for her coming on.
Will do. Thank you.
Thanks, Sher. Okay, there we go, guys. Well, I hope that was interesting. It's certainly interesting to hear Rhonda's call, wasn't it? The little messages from the prison system, saying no third-party calls and all that kind of thing. I thought when and I heard that bit, I thought they were going to cut us off. I thought maybe they thought we were a third party, but of course we're not actually directly on that line, so we were okay. We were quite confident we were okay. We knew that Rhonda had informed the prison, and they were fully aware of what was going on. They were fully aware that it was recorded on YouTube as well. And thanks very much. Thanks to Cher for setting that up for us. Yeah, and God bless John Chandler. We send him all our love. I mean, and I'm sure everybody can appreciate, what he's been through. 9 years old when it happened. Won't have any memories of what happened. He'll only know what's been portrayed to him in the media. And for anyone who's familiar with this case, what's been portrayed basically is that, Rhonda is a monster, as an evil, calculated killer. And she doesn't deny shooting Jimmy at all. She did it, she admitted it. But she certainly feels that she wasn't given fair trial. And there's a lot of things that weren't said and heard that need to be, that will maybe change people's perspective and opinions. So I'm hearing a lot of other news in the chat. I'm hearing that Fotis Doulos, I've heard something about him. I'm not going to say because in case it's not right. I mean, I trust you guys, you're probably correct, but I'm just going to wait to see it for myself. But Fotis Doulos, we've heard news about him. And the Heidi Boussard trial as well, I believe. I've got to say, I've been a bit out of the loop because I've been away at the weekend and I'm not up to speed with everything. So I do need a little bit of catching up to do. So we'll definitely have Cher back on and hopefully we can arrange to speak with Rhonda again. I mean, it's like Cher said, this is her only route out to the kind of outside world, or for her to put her voice out to the outside world. So huge thing for her. Hi, True Helper. You slipped in there at the last minute. Right, okay, guys, I am going to call it a day. It's coming up to 10 o'clock. So thanks everybody for joining. Thank you again to Cher. Please pass on thanks to Rhonda. Thanks to Kimberly, Firefly, and True Helper for looking after you in the chat. Thanks for everyone who's popped in. It's much appreciated. I hope you found it interesting. If you listened to it on the replay, I hope you found it interesting. I don't think you'll see this much on any other channels, to be honest, speaking to somebody from inside the prison. So I hope it's something new to you, and it's something that hopefully we'll definitely do again, for sure. So, and if you missed it, then make sure you go back and listen, and look out for the links underneath the video. There'll be a few links under there that we talked about tonight, to watch the Piers Morgan episode with Rhonda, the donations page for Rhonda, and other things. So make sure you look out for those underneath the video. I'll get them up as soon as I can underneath. And thank you for being such a wonderful bunch as per usual. RuPaul Thacker, if we go, is the CW film anywhere online for us to see in here in the UK? I'm not sure. I purposefully haven't looked for it, only because it doesn't appeal to me in the slightest. I can certainly have a look for you. Usually you'll find it somewhere. There's normally someone on YouTube that'll upload it. It'll be there for a day or two before it gets taken down or something like that. I'll have a look though. I will have a look, and if I do find it, I'll put it up on the community page for anyone who is interested in watching it. Like I say, for me, I think it's way too soon to be making a movie about a horrific murder like that. But obviously they've made it, and people are going to watch it. So I've heard differing things about it so far. But there's also a documentary after it, I believe, with some of Shanann's friends and what have you on there. But yeah, personally, I just wasn't interested in watching it. Really, I think we all know the beginning, and we all know the tragic ending, and we all know what happened in between. So, right, all right, guys, I'm going to jump off. Hope you enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is where you are. I will be back on soon, I'm sure. Let's get my head back in gear, and yeah, I need to catch up with some news on some other cases by the sound of it. So take care, everyone, and I will see you all again soon. Thanks for coming.